Hello, beautiful souls. Well, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a juicy one. We're going to be talking about how I went from separation from my twin flame into communication and then union and now engagement and planning our wedding. And know that this is for you too. But before we get started, well, welcome back to my channel. I am Kanisha. I am a certified twin flame ascension coach, and I am also in harmonious union with my twin flame. And here on this channel, I love to talk about twin flames, of course, but I also love to talk about self-concept, manifestation, limiting beliefs, and how to heal them, and really how to come into divine love and remembering that you're already whole, complete, divine, and worthy of deep love right now. Okay, so today I really wanted to share with you guys a little piece of my story, because I was exactly where you were literally 2 years ago and had been on my journey for about 5 years before I met my true twin flame. And then it was about another 2.5 years before we really came into union and fully committed to one another. And these are some of the things that I wish that I would have known. And so I'm going to share them with you so that that could hopefully help speed up some things within your union and really help you understand that union is an inside job. It has nothing to do with the outside. How you look, how much money you make, what your career is, has nothing to do with those things. And it's really important to understand the truth about twin flames. But right now, what I really love about what this video is going to share with you is that this is for you too. I promise you, like, if you have a desire in your heart to be in a committed union with your twin flame or to be married to them, you can absolutely have that. I don't care if they're in a third party. I don't care if they're already married to a soulmate or a karmic relationship. I don't care if they live across the world. I don't care whatever the story is, because it can be healed and transformed and transcended if you choose and believe and do the inner work. Okay, so today I'm just going to share a piece of my story. Recently someone had asked me what was the biggest challenge of coming into union and what changed after we made such a deep commitment, and if there was ever a point where I thought the marriage and this beautiful life that I share with him was not possible. And the answer is yes, very much so. There is a whole year and a half, 2 years where I was like, this issue's never come together. Like, this is never gonna work. I can do 1,000,001 a mirror exercise and that man is not gonna change his mind. Okay. But luckily he is my mirror, and we'll get into that here in a moment. But the truth is, when I look back on my journey, the biggest transformation wasn't from separation to communication, and it wasn't from going to living together, and even wasn't even engagement. Really, the biggest transformation was going from separation consciousness to union and harmonious union consciousness, like oneness consciousness. That was the biggest transformation for me. And that's because I had to go in, and don't let this scare you, because you don't have to heal every limiting thought. But I did have to go in to my consciousness and to my heart and look at all the limiting beliefs that I had about love and relationships, about the divine masculine, and what I really thought a loving relationship was and what it actually is. I had to learn what love actually was by learning how to love myself. And for a long time, it looked like we were in separation. Like, it looked like we wanted different things. We weren't on the same page. It looked like there's just obstacles standing in our way that we're never going to budge or dissolve. And honestly, there were moments when I believed in that reality, in the physical reality, in the 3D. And I remember feeling just really frustrated because I couldn't understand why something that felt like this is what God's guiding me to seemed to be so difficult. I'm like, if this is from God, why is this so hard? I don't understand. Especially when I thought about building a life together, I had a really hard time seeing it at times. And plus I had my boys. We were talking about becoming a family together and coming into what he called an already pre-existing family. And that was really fearful for him. Real fears came up around that. And that wasn't just him, that was me too. I had a lot of fears come up around bringing a man into our lives when it had just been the three of us for going on like 6, 7 years. And ultimately, there was a lot of questions. There's a lot of conversations that we had. And so if you're like, Kanisha, I'm not even in communication with my twin flame. At one point, him and I weren't even in communication. I was exploring a whole false twin flame for like 5 years. I think I experienced 2 or 3 false twin flames in 5 years. Now, you don't have to experience 3 false twin flames, guys. But I did because I continuously was looking for love outside of myself. And once I stopped looking for love outside of myself and I went within and gave that to myself, my twin flame actually showed up because I attracted him in by loving myself. And I stopped attracting people who were taking love from me because I stopped looking for love outside of me. I hope that makes sense. And when I did heal those parts of me that were communicating with me, hi, I need love here. Hi, I need attention here. And I gave those parts of me love and attention, and I listened to that communication and I responded to that communication with love. I started coming into communication with my twin flame very easily and naturally, actually. And so if you're not in communication with your twin flame, it's because on some level within yourself, you're not communicating with yourself or listening to the communication, which is usually your intuition. So that could look like having some really deep wounds around your past relationships, and you keep projecting this belief that that's going to show up in your twin flame union. And so this part of you is communicating to you, hey, I'm really hurt here. I want you to look at this. But your conscious self is like, no, I can't look at this. It's too painful. You're not listening to the communication and you're not communicating back to it with love. So this could be an easy way of why your twin flame isn't communicating with you. They're your perfect mirrors. I hope that makes sense. But that, yeah, when we came to communication, we had so many questions. We had to work through a lot of fears, a lot of trying to understand how this would work, and really fears of change, fear of losing our freedom. I had a deep fear that I was going to lose my freedom because I grew up with very controlling men in my life. My ex was controlling, and I was like, I'm so terrified to go from being single for so many years to being in a relationship with someone who might control me, and I feel like I'm going to lose my freedom. Like, we both had deep fears around that. And I also think I had to understand now that I didn't understand, how do I say this? I think what I understand now is that I didn't understand that underneath all of those fears were actually the understanding that we both wanted the same thing. Like, if we cleared all the fears and we really looked at what we want, we both wanted the same thing. We both wanted each other. We both wanted to be together. We just had all these fears coming to the surface. And that is very normal in every twin flame union. We both wanted to be loved. We both wanted peace. We wanted to build a life together. We wanted to put God at the center of our union. And the problem was not that we ever wanted different things. It was mostly that we let fear overrun the love, really. Like, we let fear overcome us instead of just loving ourselves in that space and choosing peace in that space. So our journey really became less about trying to convince each other and more about healing once we understood this. One of the things I realized too was that I was trying to talk my way into union. So this is one of the things I wish I could have gone back and told myself, like, you can't talk your way into union, y'all. It's not gonna work, okay? You have to literally heal your way into union. So, for example, I tried to convince him why we were twin flames, and he was not having it. And it's because your twin flame is not going to give you what you want when you're trying to control or persuade or convince. It's just not going to work that way. And so once I surrendered and just relaxed into the truth that I knew we were twin flames, and I didn't need him to know that, and I didn't need to convince him of that, and I just surrendered it, he finally came to the understanding that, like, this is my divine partner and this is who God has for me. And I was just like, wow, like all I had to do was heal within and like relax into that truth. I also had to relax into not him thinking that I was his twin flame, but that my true twin flame saw me as their twin flame. So ultimately, I wasn't attaching to my masculine. I wasn't attaching to him as a person, as Eliud. I was not attaching to him. I was just grounding into my knowing that my true twin flame, whoever that might be, in my mind, I knew it was him, but I didn't want to attach to him. Whoever that might be was going to see me as their true divine counterpart. And as I released attachment, sorry, my dyslexia is kicking in. Attachment, sorry guys, attachment to him seeing me as his divine counterpart, but that my true twin flame saw me as their true divine counterpart, that my twin flame was going to reveal themselves by saying ultimately, like, I know that God created you for me. And that's exactly what he did. Like, I didn't go in my mind and I was like, Eliud is going to see me as his twin flame and as his divine counterpart. No, I was like, my true twin flame, whoever that might be, whoever God has for me is going to see me as their true divine counterpart, and God is going to reveal it to them. And long and behold, that's exactly what happened. And that's one of the ways he revealed himself as my true twin flame. So you don't talk your way into union. You have to heal your way into union. You have to heal the fears, the stories. You got to have those difficult conversations and really choose honesty and patience and unconditionally love them where they are. Like, that is one of the most important things. That's one of the things I also wish I could have gone back and told myself, like, just love him where he is, because love is going to transcend every upset and every fear. Just love them as they are. Now, this doesn't mean we don't have boundaries, y'all. Okay. You have to have boundaries. And it does not mean they get to treat you like garbage. Okay. We're not going to be like doormats. They get to be walked all over. No, but understand you have to see the divine in them. So don't give energy to their ego, and really like love the divine loving being that you know that they are. And I guess one of the most important things about our relationship today is like how differently we move through challenges. We used to move through challenges really harshly. I'm gonna be honest, like it was rough, y'all. The first couple of months living together, it's like the first time you really have your mirror in front of you 24/7 because you're living in the same home. And all of our deepest insecurities and fears came to the surface. And I really hope this doesn't deter you from like going all in and being committed to the work and really mastering the mirror exercise, because that is what like grounded me and honed me in to be able to move through some of these deep upsets, was having to master the mirror exercise and recognizing that he's my perfect mirror. He's triggering things within me that were already there. He's just saying energetically and spiritually, hey, there's a space here in your consciousness and in your consciousness that needs attention and love and needs to be redirected to love, because it's out of alignment with love and it's not okay to continue operating on this. And so when those fears came up and those upsets came up and one of us got triggered, we would like be so triggered. Now we don't have that issue. We went from being upset for sometimes days on end to literally it like is like sometimes just 30 seconds to maybe 5 minutes. Like we're able to move through it like that. And I don't need him to apologize or do anything. I just start doing the mirror exercise. And then as soon as I get to a place of peace, he'll have a conversation with me. And maybe the apology comes in, or maybe there's just clarity there. But I just realized that the upsets are just coming up so that they could be cleared within our union. That's it. And really understanding that it's us against the upset and us against the trigger and illusion, not us against each other. And that shift really brought so much more peace into our relationship. And that's really what led to the deeper commitment and an engagement, was that we were able to start really harmonizing in every area of our life. And that naturally brought the commitment of an engagement. And we really became much more gentler with one another, so patient and so compassionate and so understanding of one another. Now, does that mean that we don't have upsets? Okay, we have an upset at least once a day. But we move through them, and we don't let the upset keep us from loving each other or loving ourselves. And we realize that there's no upset and there's no thing that could separate us. Like, that's the one thing that's so important in a divine union, is coming to the understanding that separation is an illusion and nothing can actually separate you from your twin flame. And I know that like might sound hard to grasp and really ground, because it took me a long time, but that's really what healed my union, was realizing that we weren't separate. And honestly, it's one of my favorite parts of my union, is that we choose as one. So not there's no upset that is meant to stop you from being together. There's no block that is bigger than your union. I promise you, there's nothing that's going to stop you from coming into union if you're 100% committed to coming into union, doing the inner work, loving yourself completely, and really choosing to move through everything that comes up. And there was many moments in our union where I was just like, this is never coming together. Like, I'm gonna not be married to this man. Like, it's just not gonna be. And then I realized that was the thought process that was keeping me from actually coming into union. So when I shifted that thought process, and I really shifted my beliefs and thoughts into, I'm going to marry my twin flame, I'm going to live one life with my twin flame, and that even changed to, I am living with my twin flame, I am living one life with my twin flame, even though my reality wasn't showing me that. I almost got a little delulu and had to like go in and truly convince myself inwardly, and very quickly my outer reality reflected it back to me. And again, I didn't attach it to Eliud. I attached it to the man that God has for me. I was very clear in my affirmations, because I wanted the man that God had for me. I didn't want to attach to a specific person because I had limerence or an obsession with them. It was not about that. I wanted the God-given man that God created for me to be the one coming into my reality. And so I reaffirmed all the time, my true twin flame and I live one life together. My true twin flame and I see each other as divine counterparts. My true twin flame and I are working through all upsets together. My true twin flame and I are living the perfect love life together. And it didn't show up in my reality right away, but I didn't give up. Like, I had to just continuously ground that in my internal reality. And then almost within like, it was like this, like, it was the craziest thing. It was just like that we went from not being in a union to being in union. Not even kidding. It was the craziest thing. And so really, when you change your mind, they will too, because you're one consciousness. And if I'm honest, there was a point where I thought maybe he wasn't my twin flame at all, which is why I had to release attachment to him as my twin flame and just ground that God had a perfect man for me, and that that's who I was calling in. And he really revealed himself by showing up in the way that I knew my true twin flame was going to show up. So I maybe, talked my way into union, but not to him, to myself. I talked my way into union by continuously reaffirming that I was in union with my twin flame. And I didn't give two F's what my reality said, because I know that my reality is a delayed reflection of my inner reality, and that my outer reality was gonna finally catch up. But I had to keep continuously grounding my inner reality until it showed up into my outer reality. So I focused on that, and I focused on myself, and I focused on God. And we went probably like a month and a half at not talking at one point. And then he just re-showed up. He called me out of the blue, and we talked for like 6 hours, even though he lives in the same city. Like, we talked for like 6 hours. We literally could have got together, but I think it was like 11 p.m. at night when he called me. And he told me about all the healing he was doing, which reflected all of the healing I was doing. And that really, again, was another way of him revealing himself to me. And What changed was this realizing that we weren't separate, that we were literally moving through the same thing at the same time. It looks a little different on the outside, but like we were always moving through the same thing. And when I really embodied that, the more I healed, the more I chose myself, the more I surrendered and trusted God, the more that I returned to love. Like my reality just reflected that back to me. And now here we are, we're engaged. So we are building a life together and raising our boys and planning a wedding. And it's hard work. I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard work, but it's so freaking worth it. So don't give up on your union. Don't think, oh my God, it's going to take too long. Who cares about the time? You're going to spend eternity with them. Who cares about the time? Just choose you and choose them, and choose your union at the center. Choose God at the center, and just keep choosing love. And don't let today's circumstances pull you away from what you can have a lifetime with them. Like there's so many moments in my reality that told me it wasn't going to happen, and yet here I am. Like sometimes the greatest miracle isn't your twin flame coming back, guys. It's sometimes just the person that you became along the way. And that for me was massive, because I really shifted from this really depressed, broke girl to my true, authentic, divine self who's living my most luxurious life. And I still have more to go, but now I'm doing it with my twin flame. And when you become that version of you, the love that you've been seeking from so many other people will meet you through your twin flame. You will see it reflected back to you by your twin flame. So I love you guys so much. I hope this was supportive. Please drop comments below, because I love listening to your guys' comments and your stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys very, very soon. I love you guys. Bye-bye.